Ghana, 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 Oseye. Ghana, oh, yeah, Ghana, oh. We will soon be presenting our petition. But I'm told President Akufo-Addo is also president of ECOWAS. The ECOWAS sub-region is very disappointed in the kind of leadership President Akufo-Addo has provided. We are a peaceful people demanding economic relief. Yesterday, President Akufo-Addo allowed his violent nature to infest the Ghana Police Service, and they visited violence on us. Today, when the Ghana Police Service decided to become professional, they proved that they are a service with integrity, and we thank them. We will continue to salute the police anytime they take on their professional hat. And today, they deserve our commendation. President Nana Akufo-Addo has become the #1 thief of our land. He has stolen the Songo salt for individuals that do not have the right to own it. Over 100 communities are suffering, and President Akufo-Addo has gone into some kind of arrangement giving Songo lands to an individual. That cannot be allowed to sustain. Just right across us is something they call National Cathedral. That is a cathedral of lies. Many individuals whose private property were on this site have been denied compensation, and yet you want to build land and build a church for God. When you take from the poor and you say you are going to give to God, God will not accept it. As we stand here, Kromnu Ashe. I didn't say Kromna Yashe. I said Kromnu Ashe. Everything is basa. Nyama. Murinyai. Nothing is working. Even the police that are here, they are hungry. They are no more getting momo from their loved ones, because e-levy has come to worsen their economic situation. So police are suffering. The army, they are suffering. Our mothers are suffering. Our market women are suffering. Above all this, President Akufo-Addo is taking the livelihood of the people of Songo for individuals. What kind of president is he? So I want to thank you for demonstrating with us and telling President Akufo-Addo that he and his people in government, that the power of the people is stronger than the people in power. So as we wait for the Speaker of Parliament or his representative to come, I want to hand over to other people, but to salute you for your fortitude, and that because of this your attitude, it will not be long. We shall embark on a nationwide demonstration to press home our demands. We will not fear the bullets from the police. We will not fear bombs from the police or the army. We are a peaceful people. If President Akufo-Addo wants to instruct them to kill us, we raise our hands. We are ready to surrender. We are ready to die, but will not give up the fight for economic freedom. I thank you. I thank the Ghana Police Service. I thank the IGP, and in particular the Greater Accra Police Commander, who has shepherded this process to a successful conclusion. God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Certainly, the Krom Ayeshe demonstration currently at its final stop, which is Parliament. They await leadership of Parliament to come out and join them so that the petition can be presented to the leadership of Parliament by the leadership of the demonstration. Currently, as we speak, the DJ, who was quite thoughtfully brought along for this event, playing some Bob Marley music. Always you can rely on Bob Marley to have a song that fits the occasion, who the cap fits, playing right now. Of course, this is a procession that started today at El-Wak Stadium. A very different flavor from how the procession went on day one. They have traveled several kilometers today to their final destination, but on day one, they traveled no kilometers, but wreaked quite a lot of havoc at Kwame Nkrumah Circle. Right now, we can go back to the frontage of Parliament, where the event continues.
Mr. or Comrade Kojo Gold, General Secretary, Goon Party. Chobay! Chobay! Sir Petro Boyeti. Sir Hieni Yesika. Na Osandi Amane Mami Wekurase. Na Obia Wenya Nwariye to Jubilee House. No Okase Obe Taxel. Sir Mbebunu Nyejuma Nye. Na se wo sore ka asem wei. Na Ghana ni appointed na so say NDC for no we demonstration on fire be NDC for. So be ka asem na se bi nyansa wo mu a wutia na wo de ho akọkọ. Ye ntimi ntina Ghana. Na munim die ntia Ghana aye tia ye mpanifo bu fire so. It is because we are quiet. Say ye kan ya no tuma omumebu yansa sebe mpanifo say obi apekwasia ne diga. Na na dan kwa kufu ado o pe Ghana fun kwasiafo ne wadiga na ye be ma na hu se ye nya kwasiafo miliano dede wey ye be ya kosi time a o fo mu nkum ye nyina obi a wuchire wo Ghana ha no mo and then one hwe ye a wo ba hwe free SHS ya ye eye na ye breed criminals because I want to call school. Now Jimmy said, "Oh, we ain't Juma yet." And so we know when you're Juma yet, and then we'll be from mobile phone. And we'll be there saying this car, send the way. Oh, we know secondary school, tertiary school, many are no. Sir, you better say NDC fool. Say NDC fool. You better sorry, I get dead. You better suppose say, "Yeah, Papa, man, pedini betie." No one will mobile. The chap one was some American chairman. They said, "Mumma yenjinatri." Mama ya be mu mama yen kasa ko se o mampani betie na se wo bomba ya and then abayifo mu kura wo hyebre no omo ni akrase bi omo wo Jubilee House ya ko ko show Toboy akokrabone o masa Sagana Mayasha Akokrabone, what's over Sagana, na yeshe. Toboy. We are now going to Copec. Consumers of petroleum products. Copec. Mr. Duncan Amo is here. Toboy. Hey! Petro no motivator ana. Petro no motivator ana. Enche bia. Eye me Dankanamu a. Na Ghana mpanyimfo
at the front gates of Parliament, where the Rise Ghana group has brought the Krom Ayeshe demonstration to its final stop. They are awaiting the arrival of the leaders of Parliament so that the petition that they brought with them can be presented to those leaders. In the meantime, we're hearing from the conveners and leaders of the Rise Ghana group as they address the teeming crowd in front of Parliament. Of course, we've heard from many of them. Some of them have expressed their frustration at the hardships that the economic situation in Ghana is putting Ghanaians through. Some have talked about how they will not allow themselves to be taken for fools by leaders of the nation. They've talked about how they expect a great deal more from leadership than what has been delivered so far. And they talk about how they will not rest until what they expect is done by the leaders of the country. Several have referred to the president and some of the decisions he has made. Bernard Mona pointed to the cathedral, which is literally meters away from where this group has converged, and called it a cathedral of lies. Talked about how some of those whose land was reclaimed for this cathedral to be built have still not been compensated fully. And for that reason, he described it as a cathedral of lies. There are many other issues that have been brought to the fore by those who addressed the crowd. The DJ has been playing songs in between these speeches. Duncan Amwa of COPEC was about to address the crowd when there was some interruption. It seems that the crowd and the police are preparing for the arrival of parliamentary leaders. And as soon as that happens, we will be able to see the presentation of the petition to these leaders. This will be the culmination of today's protests. And this is how it was planned to conclude, with the delivery of this set of demands or expectations of the Arise Ghana group. Let's not forget that this is day 2 of their demonstration. And what a day 1 it was at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, where following an impasse between the police and the protesters, there was no movement whatsoever. All day long, the protesters remained in one spot at Kwame Nkrumah Circle. But of course, that spot then became the scene of a violent clash between the police and the protesters. We saw protesters pelting stones at the police, throwing rocks at police vehicles. We saw police throwing tear gas at the protesters, firing water cannon at the protesters. And we had reports of rubber bullets being used on protesters. We saw injuries to police officers and to protesters. Yesterday was a violent day. But today, what a contrast. The police, working in tandem and collaboration with the protesters, have marched peacefully from El Wak Stadium all the way along Independence Avenue, past Jubilee House, and straight to the Finance Ministry, where a petition was presented to the Deputy Finance Ministers, and then onward to Parliament, where they are gathered today, right now, this afternoon, awaiting the arrival of parliamentary leaders so that the final copies of their petition can be presented to them. What a difference a day makes. Peaceful protest after violent clashes, all in the name of the exercise of democratic rights by citizens to demonstrate. The police also seeking to carry out their mandate of protecting citizens, but of course misunderstanding, resulting in some very unfortunate scenes of destruction and mayhem, of fire, fury, and water cannon, all ensuing yesterday at Kwame Nkrumah Circle. Today, peace prevails as large numbers of police officers interact with even larger numbers of protesters in a peaceful manner right outside the House of Parliament. Now you can see in your shot several of the security operatives as well as leaders of the Arise Ghana group organizing their people so as to allow for the arrival of parliamentary leaders and of course the delivery of the petition to these leaders. In your shot right now, we can see the approach of some parliamentary officials. I believe in our shot we can see in the center there the parliamentary public relations director as well as Mr. CNN Kote, who is one of the officials of Parliament. But also in the background, you see leadership of Parliament, members of Parliament there. We can see the minority leader and the majority leader standing side by side, as well as other leaders. And it would appear that they are preparing to receive this petition. We will be able to name, as soon as we can get a bit closer, even more of those who are there. We can see Mr. Okovandapoy, who is with the minority. The majority leader, Oseche Mensabonso, is there. Minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, also present. And we can see Joshua Akamba, who is standing next to another leader from the Arise Ghana group. In fact, several of their leaders grouped together, preparing to present the petition to Parliament.
The petition will be covered, okay? We can't be fighting among ourselves.
At the House of Parliament. In the background, we can see the Clerk of Parliament, Mr. Jethro, who is standing with some members of Parliament, and they are preparing to receive the petition. Bernard Mona has been handed the megaphone, which means we can soon hear as he addresses these parliamentary leaders on behalf of the Arise Ghana group. Journalists, of course, jostling to present their microphones within the range of Mr. Bernard Mona's words, so that we can all capture them. Let's go across now.
Mr. Speaker, the majority leader, the minority leader, anytime we say Arise Ghana, we mean an amalgamation of various groups, including civil society organizations, political parties, pressure groups, media, chiefs, and other segments of our society. And so the chorus is, when we say Arise Ghana, you say Save Ghana Now. Arise Ghana.
Save Ghana now.
Majority leader, you didn't respond. Arise Ghana.
Save Ghana now.
Thank you.
He still didn't respond. He still didn't respond.
We have a lengthy petition. I have decided that we are not going to read everything. So we'll just highlight the issues. One, that the economic situation we find ourselves is unbearable. Parliament is the representative of the people. And it is only Parliament that can compel government to take action to ameliorate the suffering, including the police. Some of the issues are obnoxious, insensitive taxes that we have imposed on ourselves. We call for the immediate withdrawal of the electronic transfers levy, which imposes a burden on young people who want to do business because it's a siphon of capital. It also steals away money from people's savings. It confiscates people's savings. And it has imposed hardship even on the poor, as we have noted that majority of our MPs who used to send us Momo have declined to send us Momo any longer, because they don't want to pay charges, thereby impoverishing us even the more. We call on you to urge government to table the immediate withdrawal of the taxes and levies, charges on petroleum products that have escalated the prices of petroleum products. We call on you that you should take steps to exercise your right as the only authority that has right to declassify lands that are of public nature. The disclassification of Achimota Forest by the president does not sit with law, and we urge you to do so. We also urge you to take pragmatic steps to look at the people of Songo and to save them from the kind of difficulties they are going through. We look at the rate of unemployment in our society, and it has reached a crescendo. We cannot live in a country where unemployment is consuming our young people. We also urge you to look at this issue of inflation that is making life unbearable for a majority of our people. As for the CD, it has run away from the IGP, and the CDS cannot even arrest it. You have to take steps to ensure that we are able to stabilize our currency, to bring about economic reprieve for our people. These and many others. And in fact, at this critical time that the people of Ghana are suffering, we cannot understand why Parliament will be making approvals for National Cathedral when we cannot get food to eat. We urge you. These and many others are contained in this petition. I will ask my colleague Duncan Amwa of COPEC to highlight some of the final issues before I present the petition. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard. Thank you, leadership of Parliament, for granting us this audience. I would have felt very terrible if I didn't join the everyday Ghanaian in this demonstration and protest. Not long ago, petroleum prices were around 14 Ghana, 15 Ghana. I was on record to have insulted, in fact I castigated authorities back then. Today, it has crossed the 50 Ghana cedi mark, and yet we are all sitting pretty and comfortable. Petroleum prices is simply not because of Russia and Ukraine. That is not true. If Russia should stop fighting Ukraine today, petrol will still go up in Ghana simply because our fundamentals are very weak. Petrol price didn't go up because Russia attacked Ukraine or because COVID attacked the global economic space. There are elements on pricing that is disturbing all of us. As we speak, you are representatives that crude prices had dropped to $30 and below, are still looking on as crude has gone to 120, whilst the government of the day continues to rip us off with what we call special petroleum tax, 46 pesos every litre. In these crisis moments, when we expect petrol prices to be managed for all of us, we are still collecting something we call baller tax. We find that unfortunate. We would have expected that the price stabilization and recovery levy that we collect from the trotro drivers who are also part of this protest will be used to at least sustain or stabilize petrol prices for all of us in the country. That fund, we do not know where the money has gone to. Over 3 billion has accrued to that fund. Where the money went to, we do not know. And
we must apologize. We are struggling with our signal to Parliament House. We're working on it, though, to ensure that we can hear everything that is being said. But so far, we've heard from Bernard Mona and Duncan Amwa, who both as leaders of this Arise Ghana demonstration have addressed the leaders of Parliament. So we heard Bernard Mona enumerating some of the demands that have been spelt out in their petition, which is about to be presented to the leadership of Parliament. Bernard Mona, in turn, spoke specifically about the burden of petroleum prices. He talks about how a bid to blame all of our petroleum price inflation on the Russia-Ukraine war, in his view, is not accurate. He talks about how prices would still be rising without Russia having attacked Ukraine, merely because of the imposition of certain levies and taxes. I believe we can now perhaps reconnect with the leaders of the Arise Ghana group who are addressing leaders of Parliament right now. Right. We can't apologize enough. There does seem to be a major technical difficulty that we are working to overcome, and we will soon be able to reconnect you so that we can hear loud and clear as the leaders of Parliament and the leaders of the Arise Ghana group interact outside the gates of Parliament, where a petition is being presented to parliamentary leaders. We can see that the hundreds and perhaps thousands of people who have stayed through this procession and demonstration all the way from LWAC Stadium earlier today to this culminating point in front of Parliament are still on their feet and awaiting the natural conclusion of events. There is a huge contingent of police who are lined up at vantage points to ensure some semblance of security and safety. We now have the minority leader of Parliament speaking.
Provoke debate accordingly for the needed attention, and to borrow the words of the second person who spoke, we need to work together to lessen the burden of the Ghanaian. It's a truism that cost of living is high, cost of doing business is high, unemployment is growing in our country. We've taken note of you wanting Parliament to exercise some mandate in reviewing the petroleum-related taxes. I know, for instance, the United States, through President Biden, have momentarily suspended petroleum-related taxes. We would consider it within the general context of the challenges of the Ghanaian economy. What's important is for us to preserve the peace of the country, the stability of the country, our democracy, even as we protest, which is legitimately guaranteed for every Ghanaian to manifest such protest when you are not happy. So we should commend the peacefulness of it. I understand that yesterday there were some infractions, avoidable if they were. We all should work to improve it so that police-civil relations does not suffer, and we work to keep the peace and stability of the country. You've raised very legitimate concerns, and I'm sure it will receive the deserved attention of Parliament and the elected representative. Let me hand over to my colleague, the majority leader, for his comments. Stop your noise. We'll just make a brief comment, then we take leave. Well, it's okay. Mr. Mona and the other leaders of this group that has marched to Parliament to present a petition. We have received the petition so presented on behalf of the Speaker of Parliament, who you have been told is unavoidably absent from Ghana. We've noted the concerns that we've raised, including matters relating to taxes, the reclassification of lands, matters relating to Songo, unemployment, inflation, the depreciation of the city, matters relating to National Cathedral, and petroleum prices, and other taxes, including in particular sanitation tax. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in Ghana, and we notice as members of the Ghanaian society the difficulties facing as a nation now. What concerns us all as representatives of the people should also concern us is the matter of addressing that we may differ. Notwithstanding, we all appreciate the concerns raised by you. But as the minority leader has indicated, we must not be oblivious of matters happening around us. The world generally, and in particular, the sub-region. So yes, we have a right to demonstrate, but let's keep it peaceful.
in order that nobody takes advantage of what is happening to destabilize the country. That should be a paramount concern of all of us. The stability and viability of this nation should be the overall objective of all of us. So we appreciate the point that you have made. We appreciate the point that you have made. We'll take it into the chamber and consider, talk seriously over them, and consider how best to address them. So we thank you for bringing the concerns, the petition to us, and let us assure you that your representatives would not turn our backs on you, and that we will deal with the matters just so that we'll reposition the country. We thank you, and thank you for the peace and for comporting yourself, and hope that even if you decide to continue, it will and must be peaceful. Thank you once again.
Let's go back and address our people. Let's go out and address our people.
Right, so we've heard from some of the leaders of parliament. We've heard from certainly the minority and majority leaders in the persons of Haruna Iddrisu and Oseche Mensah Bonsu. Haruna Iddrisu, of course, commending the protesters for exercising their constitutional rights, and of course condemning the violence from yesterday, hoping that lessons have been learned from it. Oseche Mensah Bonsu also thanking the petitioners, and also pointing out that protests ought to be possible without violence. Certainly calling for any such protests in the future to be violence-free, and reinforcing the importance of that right to protest, which is enshrined in our Constitution, but at the same time enumerating the values and virtue of peace, which cannot be underestimated. You're now viewing some drone shots of the gathering. There are very many of them, all in red, as you can see, gathered around a vehicle which is parked on the road outside the entrance to Parliament. And of course, these men and women who have been on this protest since yesterday, some of them, are awaiting the conclusion of this interaction between their leaders and the leaders of Parliament. It should culminate in the presentation of this petition and an expectation of the way forward. And as you're observing this group of now quite calm protesters, it bears a great contrast to what we saw yesterday, the images that we were assaulted with yesterday on our television sets as violence ensued in clashes between protesters and police. Tear gas was fired, rocks were hurled, people were hurt, and this all in one location, Kwame Nkrumah Circle, yesterday. Today, the protest has successfully traversed several kilometers across the capital city from El Wak Stadium all the way to Parliament House. And as we speak, there is a conclusion to the presentation that was being given by the majority leader. Let's see if there are any other speeches, but present at this acceptance of the petition are not only the majority and minority leaders, but certainly some members of parliament. I saw the member of parliament for Keta, and of course I'm talking about Jifa Gumashi. There was also Uku van der Poy. I also observed some of the officials of Parliament. Mr. CNN Kote was there. I saw Mr. Jetro, who is the Clerk of Parliament. Kate Addo, who is the Director of Public Relations or Public Affairs, was also there. She, I believe, started off the interaction between the protesters and the parliamentarians. As we speak, we are observing the protesters as they stand around awaiting the conclusion of the interaction between their leaders. Of course, let's not forget that the Arise Ghana group decided to call their demonstration Krum Ayeshi to highlight the economic hardships that they wanted to bring to the fore with their protest. And indeed, inflation rising to record high levels this year, and this, of course, affecting the cost of absolutely everything from transportation to food and everything in between. The levies and taxes that have been introduced, including the controversial e-levy, which is now by law applicable to all electronic transactions above 100 cedis per day. I believe that we can now go back to hear more from this interaction as Sami Jemfi now takes the microphone.
Press conference. Now your next demonstration
Yeah, sure.
Until then, I do better petrol so. Until then, I do be e-levy free ho. Until then, I do be COVID levy free ho. Until then, I do be check a Japan.
Yes.
Until then, I do be jai chrono. Obe jai se wa bro ni amamuono. Now we jai private jets now all high no. We will not stop the demonstration. We shall not rest. And you be more mate bobo le bobo. Show boy.